Woodhall Hospital early the next day. The medical intensive care unit, 8th floor, room number 120. Merconi walks up to the door of his brother's hospital room. There is a nurse sitting at a desk guarding the door. His brother is lying awake in his bed, hooked up to a heart monitor. A black female nurse, age 40, with long black hair, wearing a white uniform, turns to ask Merconi a question. "Are you here to see your father?" "No, I'm here to see my younger brother." "I'm so sorry, but he looks so much older than you." "It's okay, I've heard it before. That's what sickness will do to you." Robert hears his brother talking to the nurse. He sits up in bed and waits until his brother enters the room. Robert whispers something in his brother's ear. Robert then turns and yells out to the female nurse, who is outside of the room. "Can you close the door? It's confidential. My brother and I need to talk." "I'm sorry, Robert. I can't close the door. The door has to stay open. It's for your own safety. I'm here to make sure nothing bad happens to you." "I've been trying to call you since 4 o'clock this morning, Michael." "So it was you that called and hung up?" "Yeah, I wasn't sure if I dialed the right number. Why'd you hang up?" "Because I thought it was a crank call. Why didn't you speak?" "My heart monitor wires kept getting tangled in the telephone cord." "After the third phone call, I disconnected the telephone so I can get some sleep." "Why, I couldn't get you on the telephone. I called the operator and had to connect me to the police department." "What did you tell him?" "I told the police that someone was trying to kill you. They wanted to know who the person was." "What name did you give him?" "I told them that it was President George Sharp that was out to get you. I wanted to have him arrested and put in jail for trying to kill you." "So what happened next?" "They wanted to know my name so they could have me arrested." Giving you a telephone, Robert, is like handing you a loaded weapon. "Michael, did anybody try to kill you today?" "Not today, Robert." Robert turns and yells out to the female nurse. "Nurse, I need to make a telephone call. I have to call Washington. They need to ground all the helicopters. The government's trying to kill my brother." "Who wants to kill your brother?" Robert leans over and speaks softly to his brother. "Michael, I want you to buy a car. I give you $500 to buy a car. If you can get me out of here, you don't even have to pay me back." "I'll think about it, Robert." "Michael, can we move to a country where cigarettes are $2 a pack?" "Yes, Robert." "Where can we go?" "How about Italy, Robert?" "Will they send my checks there?" "I don't see why not." "Do they have American TV over there?" "I'm sure they do, Robert." "Are we going to fly or take a boat to get there? I've never been on a plane before." "How do you want to go?" "Michael, let's go by boat. Do you think the Krauts will try to sink the boat on the way to Italy?" "I hope not, Robert. The war's been over a long time." "Okay, then, let's go." Robert, excited by the news, yells out to the nurse at the door. "Nurse, get my clothes. My brother and I are leaving." "Where do you think you're going?" "I'm going to Italy so I can get cigarettes for $2 a pack." "You can't leave without the doctor's permission." Robert now yells out to the nurse. "I want to go home. Get my clothes. I'm leaving." The nurse enters the room to calm Robert down. "Robert, I'm sorry, but you can't leave the hospital without seeing the doctor first. That's the hospital's rules." "My brother Michael owns the hospital. He says I can go home now." "Why don't you have dinner first, Robert?" "I don't want any hospital food. I'm sick of hospital food. I'm Italian. I want some Italian food." "They're serving chicken for dinner." "Michael, can you get some spaghetti before we leave? Maybe we can go get some spaghetti in the restaurant downstairs before we go home, please." A female nurse enters the room to take a blood sample. "Hello, Mr. President. I'm going to need to get a blood sample from you. It won't take long." "Okay." The nurse draws a tube of blood from Robert's right arm. "If there's a war, I'll send out battleships, the Marines, the Air Force, the Navy, the Army, and the Reserves. That's what I'm going to do to stop the war." "You certainly know what to do, Robert." "Michael, do you want to be vice president?" "I'll think about it, Robert." "Michael, if you're the vice president, you can change the law. You can put President Sharp in jail. Sharp doesn't need to have a trial. Make it so he never gets out." "It's not a bad idea, Robert." "Michael, 2 guys tried to kill me throwing a brick off the roof. Can you put them in jail?" "I'll have them locked up and throw away the key. They'll never get out, Robert." Give me a pack of cigarettes, Michael, a container of coffee, and a donut, and I'll be ready to leave by the time you get back. The female nurse now steps in. Robert, I'll be right back with your medication. In less than a minute, the female nurse returns with Robert's medication. She hands Robert a glass of water with the pills. Robert puts the pills in his mouth and takes a drink of the water and swallows the pills. Within a few minutes, Robert is fast asleep.